Some of the lessons you put through this are important with the focus on sales first, because you know, my father would say to me all the time, the harder I work, the luckier you get.
Yep.
And he said, there's no trade secrets in this. This is just, you have to outwork the competition, whoever anybody else is that stands in your way. And you don't even have to necessarily, you know, I think about entrepreneurs today, and I think about my dad at the time. You know, he knew nothing about media, knew nothing about publishing. The only thing he knew is that he said, I have 3 hungry kids at home I got to feed, so I just have to work harder than everybody else and sell it.
Yep.
And I think the sales part, which I'd like you to stay on it for a moment, really is the most important element for an entrepreneur, because you know, if I had $1 for everyone who brought me an idea without a plan behind it, you know, we have a private equity firm that we, you know, fund that we were running, and we would invest in folks, and they would spend all the time telling you about this plan, but never give you the thing about how you had to sell. And that's like, well, if you're the CEO, you're in charge, you have to be the #1 salesperson.
Always. No exceptions.
You've got to be the #1 salesperson.
I always say to people, if you come up with an idea where you say, I can make dollar bills for 50 cents, would you go out and raise money, or would you just go out and sell it? You just go out and do it, you know, and that's what you have to do. And look, we all go through that fear factor of, do I quit my job? Can I do this? Can I do this, and what happens next? The one thing I know with 100% certainty, and what I would tell myself is, if I can sell and become a better and better salesperson and be great at selling, I'm always going to be successful whether I'm working for myself or if the company that I started just didn't work. I'll give you an example. Out of Indiana, before I went down to Dallas, I needed to start something. And I decided that everybody drank milk, and I found this product, powdered milk, that was cheaper, and everybody needed to save money. And I was going to go out there and sell it because it was cheaper. Now, it didn't taste quite as good. And so but I went out there to try to sell it. Failed miserably. But I learned how to make the sales effort even when things weren't going right. I learned that the rejection was, every no got me closer to a yes. That not every product was perfect, but I could take those same skills, even in failure, and translate them. So that what I learned selling garbage bags door to door, what I learned from selling powdered milk that was awful, what I learned from selling local area networks at Micro Solutions, all those things accumulated, and I got better at selling. So I always knew, you know, people always say to me, if you lost everything, what would you do? I can sell. I can sell. And it's not about selling ice to Eskimos. It's not about, you know, convincing people to do this. Selling is always about helping. Selling is always about understanding the person you're talking to and what their needs are. And if someone can help me make my life easier, yeah. People, you know, now with employees, people always say, well, like, what's the definition of a great employee? Someone who can reduce the stress of those around them. And it's the same thing. What's the definition of a great salesperson? Someone who can reduce the stress of their salespeople. And if in looking at your company and looking at your life and looking at your goals, if you're able to go out there and recognize that whether it works or doesn't work, you're putting yourself in a position where you're helping somebody, not convincing somebody, and you're reducing their stress, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna work out. And you know, that's the confidence I've built in myself that wasn't necessarily always there. But I learned that if I try to help, if I reduce people's stress, good things can happen.
You have always